Hi, everybody. Kate from Whutsy here. I'm super excited to be recording this new print on demand video using Printify as kind of like a challenge to you out there in your Etsy shop to put out at least one print on demand item in your Etsy shop for Cyber Week on Etsy. Now, why am I doing this challenge? Well, I think that there is an opportunity for a lot of people, either with an existing Etsy shop or those out there who are thinking, yeah, I want to start an Etsy shop, but I don't even know where to begin. This is a great time to start, a great way to start. And I'm going to walk you through step by step. Now, there's some people on my channel who have probably already watched my step-by-step Printify video. And that one I made a couple years ago, and people really seem to like it. Now, if you're new to my channel, how I do things is really slow paced, step by step. I explain it as we go, and I do it with you. This is designed so that you can actually put me in the corner of your screen, put me on your phone next to the computer, on the iPad, whatever, and follow along with me. And as we go along, you can click along, you can pause the video to catch up, you can go to the description of the video below and find all the chapters if you need to go back and rewatch something. And I put these out as kind of like an anti tutorial because I always have a hard time with a lot of the tutorials out there. And I like to learn kind of step by step. Show me how to do it. Now I know how to do it. And now I'm empowered to do whatever I want with that knowledge. And that's what I want to do for you. Now, a lot of my content is geared specifically to people with an Etsy shop or who want to open an Etsy shop who are based in the United States. That doesn't mean you can't take the information I'm giving you if you live in another country and do your own research to see how it applies to you. There's a lot of people who listen to the channel and watch the channel that are outside the United States, and I'm totally aware of that. So anything that I am aware of or can point you in the right direction to get more information as we go along the video, I will try and point that out. I'll also be trying to answer a lot of questions that have popped up from my previous video that continually to pop up. There's also lots of changes in Printify since the last video I made, the last comprehensive tutorial. So anyway, I hope that kind of covers the intro. What page I'm looking at right now is whutsy.com/Printify. I recommend you head over there for all the resources referencing this video. You can see on my screen, it's kind of probably going to look a little different than what you'll see because guess what? I'm making the video, so I don't have the content for the page yet. But I wanted to show you the page. So you can type into your browser whutsy.com/Printify, or the link will be just below this video on YouTube in the description. And I'm going to have all your links. I'm also making a PDF that's going to walk you through this video as well. So if you are like me, and you have notebooks everywhere with all kinds of crazy writing of all the things you learn, because to me, and I'm just putting this out there as just kind of a resource for people if they have trouble organizing their thoughts or moving forward with ideas and things. The idea of writing something down isn't necessarily that I'm going to reference it later. There's something to be said about hearing or learning something and then also translating that into written word where you're physically writing it. That adds to the comprehension process. So I like to create these PDFs for you guys to print out, and then you can kind of have it a physical page that you can write notes on as we go along, or use however you want or reference later. That's just my style of learning, and I like to kind of teach in my style of learning because I know I'm not the only one out there, and hopefully it's helpful to other people. And anyone who's not in that style, you don't have to use the PDF. You can skip ahead the video. You can up the speed on on the YouTube video to 8 times, whatever you need to do to get through this video. But I like to set the bar pretty low for people when they're starting out because it can be very overwhelming and confusing. All right. So that little ding reminds me I need to turn off my devices and all my sounds so that I don't have any spam calls. Where I live is a very competitive political climate right now, so I get a lot of messages constantly. Okay. So first, what do we need to do? Well, we want to create an account on Printify. And the goal of the challenge today is to just create one print-on-demand product that is always a great seller on Etsy during the holiday season. And is this going to guarantee you a sale or blow up your sales or anything like that? No, but it's going to put you in that right direction to understand how easy it is to kind of put out something new for the holiday season and maybe get a couple sales and just kind of get the ball rolling with your Etsy shop. Does that mean you are guaranteed to get a sale? No. And if you think that, that you're kind of coming at this from the wrong frame of mind. Okay. It's not get rich quick or anything like that. It's about building something on Etsy using the tools we have available for basically the lowest possible gateway to entry into opening your own business that exists today. So it's really a great opportunity for anyone. And the way I'm going to show you is good for the quote unquote side hustle, or if you have a lot of things going on. This is a way to get started on this kind of idea in the background and hopefully grow it in the future to something that maybe you can decide I'm going to devote more time to this or have it become my full-time job. I'm talking years. We're not talking about weeks, people. This is years of things. Now, just as a little side hustle, sure, this can be a kind of nice little way to have a little more money trickle in. But if you think that these videos that you see on YouTube saying, oh, you're going to make, $20,000 in my first month on Etsy, it's not a reality. It's not. So just wanted to dispel any false ideas that kind of are out there. Now, if you're new to print on demand, you don't know what print on demand is, basically, I'm just going to do a quick little summary of that and then we're going to get into it. So Printify is a company that aggregates other companies that fulfill products on demand. So that means one-offs. So typically, if you're kind of looking for a custom design somewhere, they have an order minimum of 20 or 50 or something like that. Well, with print on demand, that empowers us to make one of something and send it to a customer. These can have our own designs. These can have personalized designs. And that's what print on demand does for you. So you can sell a t-shirt, for example, to someone out of your shop on Etsy with your design on it, and you fulfill the order through Printify, and that t-shirt is made to order and sent directly to your customer. You have to obviously buy the product from Printify. That's where the cost is involved, but the customer is buying from you, and I am a proponent of pricing your items on Etsy enough so that you are making a profit on that. So we'll talk about that further along in the video. We're going to start from scratch. We're going to start, if you follow the link either in the description below, or if you go to Whutsy.com/Printify, you will find the link to take you to create an account on Printify. So that's our very first step. Now, even if you don't have an Etsy shop yet, or if you have an Etsy shop and you have an idea of a design that you want to create for print on demand, doesn't matter where you're at. This is all going to be helpful for you. It's all going to be pretty much the same. Okay, so we're going to follow that link through. I am affiliate with Printify, but I used them long before I was an affiliate. I see the success you guys have from watching my videos by being an affiliate with them, which is what encourages me to make more videos with Printify. So when somebody clicks through one of my links, I don't see who you are, but I see that someone is signing up, starting their journey on Printify and Etsy, And then I see their success in my graphs. And so that is just so exciting for me. So I love to talk about it because I also use Printify for my Etsy shop, and also for the product that I'm going to walk you through today. So once you're at the Printify, you just go ahead and do sign up. And I'm in incognito mode, so it's not going to allow me because it needs cookies for Google, but you can sign up through Google, your Google email or whatever. I recommend when you sign up to use an email address that's basically all-encompassing. I wouldn't use your personal email address. I would use one that would be your kind of catch-all email. I know I have like 10 different email addresses. One's like, okay, this one's for my personal stuff. This one's for more like just catching all spam. And then I have another one that kind of I know I check every day because all my businesses kind of feed into that one email address. So if you don't have a separate email from maybe what you use for your personal or maybe for your other business, maybe you would think about creating just that generic catch-all email address that you can use to sign up for Printify, use to sign up for Etsy if you don't have an Etsy shop yet, just to keep the organization from the beginning easy. Because yes, I can go in and change my email in Printify, but my login will always be the same. So I recommend doing what I just said. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video and sign up for a new account. Okay, so I've entered my email address and now it has just a quick survey just to help personalize the experience to provide to you while using Printify. That's not true. It's just a survey because they want to know who they're onboarding. Anything you select here isn't going to change how Printify looks to you. It may just prompt you to do certain steps versus others, but you don't have to overthink this. So I'm going to select, I have my own e-commerce store. What is my main objective? Start my first online business might be someone, grow my current business, or if you want to order bulk merchandise. But I'm going to click grow my current business. What brings you to Printify? Better prices and profit margin, convenience, product selection, issues with current POD provider. I'm just exploring. And how did you find out about Printify? Now, if you're watching this video and it's your first time here, I hope you put YouTube, or you could put other, and you could put Whutsy right in there. So we're going to click YouTube. Now, it's prompting me to do things. They're saying to order a sample, connect your store to Printify, or custom design a product, or we can browse the catalog. Now, the first step really is to connect your Etsy shop. Now, this is the time when, if you don't have an Etsy shop, to open one. And there's a link below that will take you to where you need to go to create your first Etsy shop. And again, you will need to sign up, create an Etsy account, like an account that you would use to shop on Etsy. And I would recommend, again, using that kind of catch-all email address to sign up. And that link will take you through the steps to open your Etsy store. And I'm just going to do a quick little run through. In the PDF, there is also these steps. Okay, I'm not going to go through step-by-step creating a store on Etsy because I already have done that many times and I don't want to get kicked off of Etsy for having too many shops. So it's a delicate balance, but it will walk you through the steps necessary to open your Etsy shop. And that includes, having your personal information, your bank information, what shop name you want, and other things like that. Okay, so it's good. It's nice to have that prepared before you start your Etsy shop. Now you can follow along with this video for quite a while without having your Etsy shop. You can't follow along for very long without having your Etsy shop set up. So if you still need to do that, I would recommend pausing here, save this video in your watch history, or folders on YouTube, so you can come back to it and or bookmark it or whatever you need to do, and go through, get the PDF of my website, whutsy.com/Printify, and follow the steps there to opening your Etsy shop. You really, the main step at the end is they require you to create a listing, and that kind of panics people a little bit. It doesn't matter. You can put whatever you want in there. Just enter in the required info, publish, and then as soon as you get in to Etsy, you go ahead to, I'll show you this step because this is the most important. You go into your listings. I don't have any listings right now, but you would see that one that you've created. You just click the little box that's next to that listing and then click deactivate. And then that will just take that off of Etsy so we can come back to Printify and connect the store. Because when you're first starting your Etsy shop, you don't want anything in that shop quite yet. You want to get that shop set up, and that's quite a few steps. All right, so I'm assuming now that you're at this point, you have an Etsy shop, an existing one, or you've opened a new one, you've deactivated the dummy fake listing that you start with, and you have your shop set up with all the requirements. I recommend doing that first before moving ahead. Okay, so now I'm going to connect my store now that I have all those steps ready. And it takes us, all it does is it's taking us to the settings of my stores, okay? And this is the settings menu in Printify. So when we're on our dashboard, you'll see up here, there. Now, I'm always desktop first with all this stuff. It's just so much easier. I know some people are mobile app fans. Printify doesn't have a mobile app. You can use a web browser on a device. But when it comes to just being able to manage things, I find it a lot easier on a desktop screen. So everything I'm going to talk about is how it is viewed on a desktop screen, just so you know. And so on the top right is a drop down, and this is where you have your stores. This is obviously not connected. And then also up here is the account menu, where you can see the email address that you signed up with and all these account settings and details. Okay. So really the first thing to do is to connect the shop, and then we're going to go through all these settings. So it takes us right to this section of My Stores. Now, if you're seeing a different screen than me, to get here, all you have to do is find this drop-down menu here on the top right, go down and do Manage My Stores, and it'll take you to this page. Okay, if you don't see this drop-down menu, you need to make sure you're logged into Printify and go to either My Products, will take you to a dashboard page, and then you can find this, okay? Then we need to, before we click Connect, you want to go to your Etsy shop in your web browser and log into your account. So make sure you're logged into the Etsy shop that you want to connect, okay? So once we've done that, we click Connect, and it gives us all these options how we can connect. So Printify works with many platforms. It works with Shopify if you want to have a website. I have a tutorial on how to build a Shopify website at the most basic level. You can connect with other web providers like Squarespace. You can connect to eBay, all kinds of different places, okay? But we're going to just do Etsy today. So we're going to click Connect. And then now, since I'm already logged in, Etsy's prompting me. They're asking for permission to access your account. Should we give you this company permission? Okay, and these are all the details that Printify will access. Okay, so you just have to be aware that you're giving them permission to do that, and you click Grant Access. And success, we're connected. So it's that simple. And now you'll see up in the top right corner, you'll see the store connected. And once we have products, they will appear under the My Products page, which is what I would refer to as the dashboard in Printify. And they always have little notices and things. And I try to read those, but a lot of the times it's not really relevant for what I'm doing and how I'm showing you how to use Printify for Etsy. Okay. So before we do anything like create any products or anything like that, we want to make sure we get our settings set up correctly. So we're going to just go ahead over to my account, the top right, and we're going to just fill out our account. Okay. This first part where it says my account, it asks for a business name and it tells us this information will appear on your invoices. Now, when you order a product through Printify, all right, let's talk about let's just map out the flow of how Printify works with Etsy so everyone's clear on it, because some people get confused by this. I create a product in Printify. I publish that product to my Etsy shop. That product shows up as a listing in my Etsy shop. A customer shopping on Etsy finds my product, purchases that item from my Etsy shop. Then that order goes to Printify, where I connect the product, tell Printify which product to fulfill this order with now, and then I say, yes, fulfill this order. I pay for that order. The order is then shipped to the customer. There's no, you can't do any personalized messages. You can't, it just has a simple invoice that comes, tells you what the product is and the name of the business, and contact information. Okay. So there's nothing that goes to the customer beyond whatever product you told Printify to send them, or just the basic details that are required in this page here. There's no phone number, there's nothing like that, but it's just a return address and your business name is on the package. Now, what some people are kind of like, okay, well, I have to buy the item in Printify. How do I get paid? So when the customer buys your item in Etsy, Etsy pays you. Now, when you are a new shop, that payment may take several days. It may, and depending on what settings you chose in your payment settings on Etsy and your finances, you can have that payment come out daily or weekly. Now, I have it come out daily because I like to know that the money that that person purchased from me is going to be available to me the next business day to use to buy the product on Printify. So but again, remember, when you're a new shop, that money doesn't come the next day. It takes several days. It's just how the banking system works. They need to verify that you're a real person, and not doing any kind of illegal transactions. Okay. So you have to be prepared for that for your first few orders, that you will have to pay for that item to be fulfilled, possibly before Etsy sends you the money. Okay. So you just have to be prepared for that. Now, when Etsy pays you the money, obviously, hopefully, if you do everything right, that amount that the customer pays is more than you paid Printify, and thus your profit. Okay. So I hope that makes sense. Some people get very confused by how this works. Printify does not pay you anything. We just give Printify money to fulfill the orders that our Etsy customers purchase, and Etsy pays us. Okay. So with that all said, now my account, the name of business, this is what will appear on the invoices. Okay. So whatever we put here is your business name. It should match whatever your Etsy shop name is, just for consistency. But you can put whatever you want there. Contact details. This will be full name, email, and phone number, again, to appear on your invoices. Now, anyone who's like, oh, I don't want anyone to have my name, I don't want anyone to have my number. Well, you have a business, so how would you feel if, the local business near you, didn't give out their phone number? You'd be that doesn't make sense. Now, you can easily get one of these free text app phone numbers. So if you don't have to put your personal phone number out there, I agree with you there. There's no need to do that. So you can just get the text app phone number for free. I think you can send and text every month just to keep it active. and that's your business line, okay? And some of them allow phone calls too, so you could always use it as a actual phone number as well, but don't overthink this, okay? And then again, the email address, you're allowed to change that here, but your login will always stay associated with whatever email address you use to sign up, okay? And then down here is the address. Now, this is a business address. You can use your personal address, of course, if you operate your business out of home, but this will appear in your invoices because we need to have a return address for where if people need to return something, that there is an address to send that package to. I want to explain something though. With print on demand, I never accept returns. There's no need to. If there's something wrong with the product, then I will reach out to Printify and say there was something wrong with the product. Here are the photos the customer provided. Arrived damage, it wasn't made correctly or whatever. Then Printify will review that, assess whether that's accurate, and send a replacement product to the customer. No need to have anything sent back. That just costs money, costs time, causes headaches. They can just keep the faulty product. I tell them you can keep it, gift it, give it to Goodwill, whatever you want with it, but you don't need to send it back. And the new product is on its way. But if you are making something where you're like, oh, I want to be able to accept returns, it doesn't matter if you want to or not. You still have to provide that information for the customer of where to send returns. That's, requirements to operate a business where you send products, okay? So once you've filled all, I hope that explains all that. So that's the basics of my account. The next tab you'll see here is my files. This is where you can upload files. I don't use this very much, but it is basically your library. I'll show you why further down in this video, why I don't really use this tab here, but it exists if you want to access all your files in your library. Next is payments. Okay, so I'm going to talk about payments a little bit. This gets a little complicated, but I'm going to go for it, all right? So there's two ways or multiple ways you can pay Printify, okay? So when they're talking about payments, they're saying, okay, your customer ordered something from Etsy, the order's in Printify, now we want to fulfill that order with Printify and send them the product. So you need to buy that product from Printify. So you have to pay Printify to make that product, okay? So there's a couple ways you can do it. You can add a credit or debit card. This is my preferred method. Now, again, I'm just speaking from my experience. You can use whatever method you want, okay? Or you can use a combination of both. Sometimes things change and you have to kind of just improvise, but I'm giving you the options and I'm just letting you know what I do. I put a credit card here that gives me rewards. So everything that I buy off of Printify, I'm also getting a cash percentage reward, and that is just giving me further discounts on the products I'm buying. Okay, that's how I do it. But you can add a debit card, or you can also add money with PayPal. So if you want to use PayPal to pay for Printify, you have to add a balance. Okay, so if there's no money here, they won't fulfill your order. You need to add money from PayPal and then fulfill your orders if you want to use PayPal. You don't have to. Okay, it's just another option. So you can put in $100 if you have a bunch of orders, and then you can fulfill those with PayPal that way. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. With the credit card or debit card, it just automatically charges you. There's no need to top off your balance or whatever. All right, so I hope that explains that. Down here, they offer Printify Premium, which gives you discounts on products. Now, I have a coupon code for you to use for Printify Premium if you decide you want to sign up. Now, if you are an existing Etsy shop and you know that you have a lot of sales you can make this holiday season, then for these new products, then I highly suggest this because I've got a coupon code for you to use for 1 month free Printify Premium. This code expires December 31st, 2022. So you can't use this code after if you're watching this video after that date. But if you are signing up 2022, it's November or December, you can use my coupon code. You just type in Whutsy, add the coupon, and subscribe to, or not, it wouldn't be a coupon, excuse me. It would be you subscribe to Printify and give them that coupon code. I don't think that will do anything here. We can try it and see what happens. Here we go. So there we go. It does add it. So, and this tells me my subscription plan will end on December 6th. So don't put the coupon code in yet. I would wait until you're ready and you have the product going, and then come back here and add the Printify Premium for 1 month. Okay. And once I also want one of my little tricks with these free trials is to see this date. I go onto my calendar app or notifications app or whatever I use and put December 5th, cancel Printify Premium. I never want to do it on the day of. Many times I've been kind of charged for stuff when they say, oh, it expires on this date, and then it expires on this date at like 3 a.m. or whatever. So I always do it the day before it says. That's just me as a best practices type of thing. But you can sign up for Printify Premium and you can start your coupon anytime you want within 2022. So if you want to be able to order products up for Christmas shoppers up until like the middle of December, or like December 10th would be a good cutoff date. You could start your plan on November 10th and it would be good through then. And you get that Printify Premium discount. Okay. So that's the payments page. And they have a little note here. So they said that they've switched, you can switch invoice frequency and format. Excuse me. We have invoices per order and summary invoices available in Printify. Only one of them can be enabled at a time. So we can go to the settings page and learn about that. So we're going to make our way down to the setting page and we will discuss that when we get there. The next tab is the taxes page, which is immensely confusing, and I can only help you so much because I am not a tax expert. I am not an accountant. I am not giving you advice on how to handle your taxes. That's it. End of story. Now, what do you do? Well, I will talk about the United States, what I know, I'm not going to say what I know, what I understand about it, and then give you my advice, which is to talk to an accountant who is local to you and understands your state's rules. Now, how every country has their own rules in the United States, every state has their own rules when it comes to taxes. Now, why is this even relevant? Etsy takes the sales tax out for us and we don't have to think about it. Well, it's because when we go to Printify and order something from Printify to send to our customer, we are charged tax based on the customer's shipping address. So where I live, I don't have to worry about sales taxes, but if I'm buying something and shipping it to like New York State or something, I have to pay those sales taxes because that's where the package is being shipped. Now we're considered resellers, so there are exemptions, and that's what this page here under the USA tab for resale and sales tax exemption certificates. Okay, and you have to do this for each state to be exempt from the sales tax in that state. Okay. And so they each have their own form. They each are confusing. They each are hard to understand. And that is why I don't mess around with this in these videos, because it really is something that you need to talk to a professional about. Now, I'm not saying you have to talk to a professional, because you can just pay that tax and build it into a cost of doing business. in the meantime, while you are figuring out how to submit these tax certificates. Okay. And it says they will be reviewed in a week. So you can do your own research, and you can also reach out to, I also recommend if you have like a small business association or small business network or whatever in your state, they might be able to help you with advice on how to deal with this as well. Now that's the United States. And even if you are in another country, I believe you still have to, if you want to sell to the United States and avoid those sales taxes on the items you purchase through Printify, you will still need to do this as well. I don't know for sure, but I would assume that as well. Next, they have Canada, which would be, they say there's provincial taxes to orders shipped to these provinces. So I'm assuming that's similar to like a state sales tax, but just in Canada. And they have an option to do certificates as well if you want to sell to customers in Canada. Again, you don't have to do this, but if you want to be exempt from those paying those sales taxes when you buy something in Printify, you will want to begin the process of submitting these certificates. And then the EU, Norway, and the UK, this is where the account, if you want to sell to these places, account details are required. That is business name and addresses and stuff. And then you have to get VAT IDs and all kinds of things. For me, I used to, when I first started selling online a few years ago, there was none of this confusion. It was very simple and you could sell globally and make it very easy. Within the past couple of years, it has become increasingly difficult for a small business to sell around the world and understand the rules that apply to them or don't. So I personally, in my Etsy shop, have decided to not sell to the EU, not sell to the UK, and many other countries around the world. I do sell some items to Canada where shipping isn't outrageous, and I also do sell to Australia on some of my items, and that's in New Zealand, I think, because they don't have these additional taxes, which make it, hard to really figure out what to charge to sell to these places. So my recommendation for most people is to just sell to the USA first. And then as you grow and decide where you want to sell, if you want to expand that, then you can do your research on a country by country basis before just selling globally and then deciding, oh, no, I don't, taking countries off. Just start with, I'm saying USA because I live in the United States. If you live in Canada, maybe start selling in Canada first, and then start to understand those sales tax rules in the United States, and other countries as well. Maybe just start selling only in your country. That does limit the amount of sales you'll make, obviously at first, but you can learn about the selling into other countries before you do it. Okay, so sorry it's so confusing. It's just is what it is. So, it's how we have to deal with it. And the next section is the My Stores. So again, you can add more stores here, and there is the option to do settings for the specific store. Excuse me. So here is where you would do your store name, again, matching your Etsy shop name. Save, okay. And it took me to this page. So I'm going to go back to my settings. Again, I'm going to just go to the little account icon, and we were on the My Stores tab, and I was doing the settings in the My Store. And here is where we have the ship from address. This is, again, this is the return address that will appear on your packaging. So that previous address, I did make a mistake on. that address that you put in there will not be appearing on the invoices that will be shipped to the customer. That I was a little bit confused by that. So I will try and make a correction in the video, but I might not. This is the address that will appear on the return address label. So they have a Printify default label, which is the location of where the product was printed, or you could put your own address if you have a business address. Okay, and that's up to you, completely personal, which choice you want to make. And I explained earlier on how returns kind of work with print on demand, that I never get returns because it's made to order personalized. So I don't accept returns on personalized items. If you do accept returns on items that are, say you're selling something that's not personalized, then you could put your address as the return address so you get those items back, and then you could potentially resell them. Just as a thought for that. So next on your My Store setup is the preferences. Now, this is where we're going to talk about orders and order routing. Now, if something comes up out of stock on Printify, this is one of the weak points of Printify, and I will be happy to admit it. And most print-on-demand things is keeping track of inventory, because they don't make it really that transparent when something is out of stock or going to be out of stock. So it's hard to keep track of what's available. That being said, things rarely do go out of stock on Printify. The stocks are usually pretty well when it comes to something that is very common. So if we're talking about t-shirts and mugs and other very common items, your likelihood of having something be out of stock is pretty rare. And also, when it does happen, because I am working on Etsy with a customer, typically for personalized items is the direction I like to go to justify a higher price point. That's how I operate my businesses on Etsy, but you don't have to, and we'll get into that a little bit more. But I'm able to communicate with that customer. So if something comes up out of stock after they've ordered it and I wasn't aware of it, I can offer them, hey, a replacement. It turns out I don't have this item available. I'm so sorry. I do have it available in this color or a very similar version of that. And so Printify, one way of their dealing with it is to do automatic order routing, where if the original is unavailable, they will send your order to an alternative print provider on your behalf. Now, if you're doing high volume and you have a lot of things going on, that might be a solution for you. Personally, I don't want to have that checked because that's just my personal decision. I want to, if something's out of stock, like a specific t-shirt in a specific color from a specific print provider that I know and trust, I don't want Printify to decide to send it to someone else that maybe isn't the quality that I want. Again, this is just my personal preference, and they will substitute products that are similar if an exact match is unavailable. Okay, so this is another thing. This is unless you're doing really high volume, I personally don't think this is a great solution. If you are doing high volume, then it probably will work just fine. So you just have to decide for yourself. I leave it unchecked. I go through every order personally, and if something's out of stock, I want to find that replacement or let the customer know that I can substitute something different. Then if you do select to turn on enable order routing, you now have some setup options, and you can kind of decide what gets pushed through or not based on price. So that's up to you. Order approval. Okay, so we created a product. This is the hypothesis example. I don't know why I just said that. Okay, this is the example. We created a product in Printify. We sent it to Etsy. We have a listing on Etsy. Someone buys that listing. That order from Etsy gets sent to Printify. Now we have the option here. We can have the order automatically processed an hour, meaning if doesn't matter what happens, that order is going through in an hour. It can be automatically processed in 24 hours. You could also set up a certain time of day so all your orders go through at the same time every day. But I select manual, meaning every order that comes in from Etsy to Printify, I say, yes, send this into production. Why do I do that? That's because I do personalized items. I have to take that customer's order and change the design slightly to customize to what they want. And then I change the design in Printify and then send the order to be approved. Now, it may seem like a lot of work or whatever, but I'm going to show you how I charge at the right price point to justify that extra work. Do you have to do this? No, but I want to stress this setting is very important because if you ever do want to sell something personalized, say you have 100 items and one of them's personalized, and you have this automatically fulfill in 24 hours or in 1 hour or whatever, and that one of those personalized items gets purchased and sent to print, the order gets sent to Printify, and then it's automatically shipped to the customer. You haven't even personalized it just because it's that one item out of your 100 products. Okay, so even if you're thinking about having just one personalized item, you need to have manual selected, very important. And then that way, when you go into Etsy and you see that you have orders that would be fulfilled in Printify, you can go to Printify every day, go through those orders, make sure the designs are right, submit, and you're ready to go, okay? I hope that makes sense, okay? If you are making just ready to go designs without personalization and you're not going to do any kind of personalization, you can have these automatically processed. I would be nervous about using the 1 hour in case someone cancels or makes a change or asks for something different within that first day. I think 24 hours is probably good. It might be even too long. If they had one that was like 12 hours or whatever, then I would probably select that, but they don't have it. All right, so just think really hard about that, what you decide. Next, order view settings. This is another one that's important because the way I like to use Printify is I create products in Printify and send them to my Etsy shop and my listings. And then once I have then I edit the listing in Etsy because Etsy has all kinds of different things you need to go in and change. You can't just send a product from Printify and it's ready to go. There are things that you have to do in Etsy to make changes. And because of that, I just duplicate listings in Etsy, change the photos around, and I don't have to make all these adjustments and edits all the time. So because of that, I do show all orders. So you don't necessarily have to have something synced with Printify for it to show up in Printify. So this is one of the really great perks of Printify app. Let's just say you make your own mugs. You have a mug press and you make your own mugs. And you are getting swamped at the holiday season and you're back on a bunch of orders and you're like, okay, I'll just use Printify to fulfill these extra orders that I can't get. Or you run out of mugs and it's going to be 5 days till you get them. This is when you can go into Printify, have an account, create your account, connect it to your Etsy shop, be ready. So if you ever need it, you can go ahead into all your orders that come in on Etsy and sync them to Printify per order. You don't have to have any products pushed to Etsy. Doesn't matter. So you can always pull an order from Etsy and fulfill it with Printify. Okay. And this is a fantastic solution. Even if you work with other print-on-demand companies, and they're out of stock in an item, but Printify has it, you can now take that order and open it up in Printify and link a product and fulfill it to the customer, okay? So having all orders, I think, is just a good rule of thumb. If you have show only orders fulfilled by Printify selected, now you're limiting the orders that come in. So I think having all orders is a good idea. Tracking notification settings. How often would you like to receive tracking information on orders? Okay, this settings only apply to manual orders and sample orders. So this is another thing that's kind of cool. If you, for some reason, you have an order come in and it's not showing up in Printify or whatever, you can always create a manual order. Now, when you create a manual order, now you manually have to add the tracking information into Etsy. When you have an order pulled from Etsy in Printify and you open it and sync it that way, and Printify automatically updates the tracking info for you, so you don't have to go back and do that. These settings for tracking notifications just means if you place a manual order, or if you place a sample order, it send you an email with that tracking info. Okay, that's all you know. And if you're doing that, it's probably a good idea. If you're doing it a lot, it might be good to do it just at a certain time every day. I think having it not on, I don't see the purpose of that, but if that's specific to you and you understand why you need to select that, then go ahead and select that. Now, automatically send delayed orders to production. We continually monitor information on shipping restrictions from print providers and carriers. So this is a lot to do with restrictions that can kind of randomly pop up. And this happened a lot during the pandemic, that there were certain countries restricting mail and packages from other countries and things like that. So they would automatically do this for you if an order is delayed. This is something that's very rare to happen, and you can, I would just keep things manual, because personally, if something really bizarre is going on, I want to be aware of it. I don't want just the machine to do it for me. And also, if you're doing a lot of inventory, a lot of things, sometimes these automations are helpful. But when you're just doing, a few orders here and there, or a couple orders a day or whatever, having things just kind of set manually so you can understand where your money's coming and going, I think is more effective to just understanding things that are happening. And email preferences, daily emails with updates on your orders and their status. This is helpful to have on, especially during the holiday season, to see if anything's getting delayed. If you're seeing something that's delayed, you can kind of find out what's going on and take care of that daily, instead of seeing it pop up a week later, or a customer reaching out like, hey, I haven't got my product, what's going on? Okay. And so if you made any changes we made, we definitely want to make sure we save those. And we've set up our store. Okay. Then the next thing on the settings is the actual settings. Okay. And this is where you set up your standards and formats, metric system versus pounds, inches, etc. for imperial, your time zone. Important to enter in your time zone. So we need to find Eastern time. And email notifications from Printify, if there's something going on. I recommend it. Like this Green November challenge they sent emails about. So this is a great one to sign up for as well. If you're not getting those emails, you might not know about it. And invoices, once an order is paid, you get an invoice per an order, or we could set up a monthly summary invoice, which is new. This is a new setting. So I would recommend doing a monthly summary invoice just for your sanity when it comes to tax time. Typically, Printify did once an order is paid, you had an invoice per an order. So when you have lots of orders and then you have to do your taxes, figuring out all this stuff order by order is quite cumbersome. All right, so you should have all your settings and everything in Printify all set up and ready to move forward before we go ahead and start making products. Skipping that whole part with the settings, don't recommend it. So if you're not sure what to do in your settings, go back and rewatch the previous chapter. All right, so to get to the screen that I'm on, it's called My Products. I like to call it the Printify dashboard. It's kind of the hub of everything as far as your products and kind of like my reference point when I log in. And I'm also going to recommend you, if you see this banner for the Green November Challenge, I do recommend signing up for this because this is a way to kind of earn rewards based on your success. And if they do this every year and you continue to grow your Etsy shop, this is a great way to get challenge yourself to do better every year and if you hit a milestone, you get rewards, and there's no reason not to sign up. Okay. So I would recommend go ahead and do that. If you don't see that, then the sign up window has passed, just so you are aware. And so from our My Products page, so when you log in, this is usually where it takes you, and this would be where all your products are. And we haven't created anything yet, but I just want to give you a little bit of a tour before we get into making the products. The other page that you'll reference quite a bit in Printify is the orders page. Now, this is where your orders would show up. Now, Printify orders, there's two tabs. They have these things pop up all the time. The Printify orders tab is anything that you have synced with Printify. And when I mean synced with Printify is where we've created a product in Printify, we've sent it to Etsy to create a listing in Etsy. Now that product is synced with Printify. You can also sync a product manually, which is when you get an order, you have the option when you open that order in Printify, anything that's not synced will show up in this other orders tab. Okay. And there will be a list of every order that you've gotten through Etsy because we did that in our settings. And so we can go through here, find the order we want to reference. You can search by the Etsy order number and find it, and open that order. And then you do have the option to sync at that time as well. If you're doing personalized, there's no reason to sync because every time an order comes in, it's going to be different. So it can just show up in your other orders tab. You can find it. You create the design on the new product in Printify. So when you do a personalized design, you do have to create a new product in Printify. I'll kind of walk you through that as we go because it's the same process every time, just like we're going to do when we create a new product. So it's when you go ahead and have your other order, you get a print order here. You click on that order, you find the product you made that goes to that person's specific order and fulfill it. Okay. So all your orders are going to show up in Printify, whether they're synced or not. Okay. I hope that's clear. And then other than that, we have our products. If you have multiple stores, you can switch through multiple stores. And then we have the catalog. Okay. So we're just going to go to the holiday picks. So their holiday picks are going to be what typically is a bestseller on Printify for selling during the holiday season. And this challenge video is specifically for Cyber Week because Etsy is running a sale during Cyber Week. And I want to help you create a product to run specifically during that sale and hopefully get you some sales. So we have socks, stockings, wrapping paper, mugs, more stockings, hoodies, sacks, calendars, all kinds of stuff. Now you can get overwhelmed here pretty quickly, and I'm going to really help you avoid getting overwhelmed. by picking an item for you, which is a mug. Okay, I think a mug is a really great introductory item because they usually, in general, ship pretty quickly. The places that do the mugs are very quick. They're affordable. It does cost a lot of money to ship these, so the affordability of the mug. So we see it says these prices because as I signed up in my settings for Printify Premium, if you skipped the settings part of this video, you'll want to go back and use my promo code to sign up for Printify Premium. The code is for 1 month after you sign up, and it's only valid in 2022. So if you're watching this video and it is 2023, the code will no longer work. But if you are part of the 2022 Cyber Week challenge that I'm doing, you can sign up for Printify Premium for a month to get these highly discounted prices. So you can see we can get a mug here for under $4, which is pretty incredible. Now we always have to remember that's the price of the mug itself. It does not include shipping, and that's what we'll get to. So I'm going to talk about, this is a great mug and all, but I want to take it up a little bit of a notch, make it a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead to the catalog and I'm going to go over here to mugs. And we have lots of different mugs here. We have this cool kind of latte mug. It's quite a bit more money. We have our typical mug. And what we're seeing here is like, oh, well, this is the same mug, 11 ounce. What's the difference? The difference is who is producing it. So we can see this mug is produced by Textile Druck Europa, and this one's produced by District Photo. Now, why? Because these places are located all over the world. And again, Printify is not a print-on-demand company. They are a collection of print-on-demand companies. So Printify is a middleman, essentially. They're the middle person between you and these print-on-demand companies. So they collect all these different companies from around the globe, have their products all on one website, one catalog, where you can pick who you want to make what products, okay? And so I'm in the US, I'm selling to the United States, so I'm gonna go ahead to my fulfillment locations here on the left and just click United States. I don't want to accidentally pick a product that is fulfilled in another country and it's gonna take a long time to get to my customer. I wanna have, because I'm selling to the United States, I wanna have products fulfilled in the United States. Now, even if you are in another country and you want to sell to the United States, you can create products using these companies that are based in the United States so that we can get those products to those customers quicker. Same way, if I'm in the United States and I want to sell to Canada, there are people who make mugs in Canada that I can get that order fulfilled in Canada so it gets to my customer quicker. So you understand how the benefit of this big global network can be. And it can help you if you're expanding your business into other countries and you want to make it a little bit more affordable. It obviously will be cheaper and quicker to ship an item made in Canada to someone who lives in Canada versus made in the US and shipped to Canada. Excuse me. All right. So anyway, first off, we are going to make a mug made in the USA for a person in the USA. That is, you want to kind of have that frame of mind when you're picking a product. Where is this product going to ship to? Who is the customer for this? So I'm going to go here and I'm looking for the accent mug. I wanted the 11 ounce accent mug is what I wanted. And this one is with the Printify premium pricing is $4.43. So it has the color I want, which is a red one. There may be others, so it's always worth just kind of scrolling through and seeing. This one is another one. It's $6.61. It's a little more expensive. And they have 4 colors available. They just show the one, but they have 4 colors. And then there's some other mugs here. So it looks like this is the one I'm going to use. And this page, that the mug I want to make, I want to sell to my customers, is going to be fulfilled by District Photo. And this is the page that has all the information about this item. So we want to definitely have this page to reference further down the road. So all I do is I take from my browser, I copy the link, open a new tab, paste the link, and then I have it. And I have my tabs kind of organized. So I can just set this aside so I can reference it later. And then in my original tab, I'm going to just go ahead and take a look at this mug. Okay, it's 11 ounces, has the different colors available. I'm mostly interested in the red one because I'm kind of making a Christmassy mug. You don't have to. The great thing about Christmas and the gift-giving holiday season is people aren't just shopping for Christmas gifts. They're shopping for themselves. They're also shopping for gifts for other occasions. They're also just in that mood of shopping and gift giving. And we know Christmas gifts don't have to be Christmassy. They can be any kind of gift. They can be for people who like dogs, and it has nothing to do with Christmas. It's just something that they know someone who likes dogs would like. Okay, so you don't have to make a specific Christmas design. I am, just for this video. I didn't spend a lot of time thinking about what I was going to make, but I know a mug is a great item and is a great gifting item. So if you have an original artwork or original design, something you sell in your shop, like you do art prints, putting that art print on a mug and making it a gift that's approachable to more people than just having a poster is a great way to start. Okay, and I'm picking the accent mug. You can pick any color from the accent mug. If you want to go with that plain mug, you can, or any of the other mugs. You can follow along with me. Some of the other things on the page, you'll see this is the print provider. Sometimes these pages have multiple print providers, but whoever you choose, that is who will be fulfilling that particular item. You can always go in and choose a new print provider and change and put the design, save it in your products, and fulfill orders with that. You're not married to this print provider all the time. If something's out of stock, you can always go with a different one, okay? But when we're first starting, it's good to just pick one, and then we're getting our pricing information from the basic details of the product, and where we're going with things. Now, the rating system that they give is, this is, if we hover on this, does it tell us? Yeah, so it talks about quality, production speed, and stock reliability. I've used Dessert Photo many times, and I found the quality to be fine. They have opened up their catalog to a lot of other items, and this is an aggregate scoring system based on all the products they have listed on Printify. So there may be some products that aren't doing that well, but I'm going to tell you, when District Photo just had mugs on Printify, they were a 9 or a 10 all the time. So their rating, I think, has little to do with their mugs and possibly with some of their other products, just from my experience. Okay, and that's just my recommendation. Of course, you should always base that on your own experiences. And if you find that there's a decline in quality or something in the product that you get fulfilled through a particular provider, you may want to look into going with someone else. Okay, their speed is always generally reasonable. Even with the busy holiday season, using them last year, they were very reliable. Sometimes the times do get extended to longer, and it makes you nervous, but it never was outside of their what they said that they would be able to do, which is mostly what you want to know. Like if they say, oh, we'll have it within 5 to 7 business days, you want it to be within those time frames. You don't want it to be 10 business days, right? Excuse me. And then stock reliability, a 10 out of 10, meaning they don't go out of stock on stuff, which is great news. You always want to have good stock reliability. Also here, they have a more details button. Now in this here, it tells you all the colors they have available, the prices, if they're different prices or sizes. And you can just open these up. If there's different sizes, it would show that. And then we go back to, so that was by color. And then if we go back to size, it also shows us all the colors here. what's important about this pop-up window is the shipping price. This is the shipping price for one mug to the United States, which is fantastic. That's actually a really great shipping price. I'm surprised by that for a mug. I'm almost shocked by that to the point where I don't know if that's accurate. Maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe they offer a discount shipping with Printify Premium. Could be. That's something to be cautious of. Then they also have, so the first item, that's the price to ship it to the United States. And then the second, any additional item. So if you have 2 mugs, the cost would be this plus this. So that would be $8.08 for 2 mugs. Okay, makes sense. And then they have all the other prices around the world. So they have Canada and the other countries. But like I was talking about earlier, there's lots of places to get mugs fulfilled around the world, especially these really common items like mugs and t-shirts and stuff. If someone ordered a mug from me from Canada, I probably wouldn't have District Photo fulfill it because of the shipping cost. I would have someone if there's a producer in Canada that can make this red mug, I would look and see what their price is and then also their cost to ship and look at that and compare. Is it cheaper? It will definitely be quicker. So even if it's a little bit more expensive for some reason, I might still go with them because I know it'll get to my customer quicker. But if it's significantly more, then I might just go with the US producer, knowing that typically items don't get hung up in customs going into Canada too often. Sometimes it's a few days, but in general, it's fairly quick. So that you just want to do your own research and your own comparisons when you're fulfilling around the world. All right. And then the production tab in this pop-up window just kind of talks about what they use their equipment's like. What does the packaging look like, which can be helpful. So if you want to make an Etsy listing and you want to show the packaging, you can show that it comes in this styrofoam container, which means it's going to arrive safely. I would be shocked if something mug got damaged in a packaging like this. It looks like it will be arriving safely, and it comes in a way that they could, take the label off, gift wrap it, and it's not it's ready to go to whoever they're giving it to, which is kind of cool. And then they also talk a little bit more about the products. Mugs are pretty simple, so we kind of know how it works. But if it's a product you're not sure how it's made and what's it about, there'll be all the details. Again, they talk about if it's microwave safe, dishwasher safe, the printing process. They have care instructions, and then they have a size guide, which tells you in imperial and in metric the size of the mug. So this is a great guide, and that's why I have it open in a separate tab so I can reference this later when I'm building my Etsy listing. All right, so now I'm ready to design the mug. We're going to click Start Designing. Now, again, you want to make sure you're logged into your Printify account. If you're watching this video in little bits and pieces, make sure you're logged into your Printify account before you start this process, because otherwise it won't save it. Now, here we're in the design platform of Printify, which is really great. I find it really intuitive and easy to use in general. I have gathered the images I want to use for the mug, and I'm ready to start designing it. You can connect with different places. You can connect with, if you have Dropbox or Google Drive. And if you scroll down here, you'll see the print file requirements, the sizes that you need to have for your files. If you were, say, going to design the mug on Photoshop or on Canva or something like that, and then bring it in here, you can use this as a guide, as a print guide for the size of the dimensions that you need to use in Canva and Photoshop. And they also, here on the bottom left, is a design template you can download. So you can download that template, put the dimensions into Canva, and when you start a new product in Canva, and then upload the template and have that as a guide for you in Canva. Or, of course, you can always use Photoshop or other programs and open the template, do your designing in the template, and then bring it into Printify. But I'm going to show you the hacky way, which is to design in Printify. So I've already decided what I want to do, what I want to create, and I know I want to only on the red mug. So the first thing I want to do is go into prices and variants here on the top right, and it shows you all the different mugs. Now it already selected red by default, but if I wanted to sell this on every color mug, I could check all of these. If I wanted to just have it on the blue, I could just check the blue and so on. Okay, so that's what I do first. So I update that. And then I go ahead to my device and I get the image I need. All right, let's see. Where did I put it? Here it is. Okay, it's uploading. And here we go. It's this plaid pattern. Okay, and something that's really cool with Printify is they have a bunch of new features that they've done here. But first, I want to just talk about what happens here. So my design, by default, it kind of just throws it in the middle and fills the page. And you can see when I adjust this, the scale changes over here. Okay, and then also the height and width change of my design. Okay, and I can also rotate the design using the tools. I can just click here on this corner and rotate it. Okay, or I can type here, I want it just rotated 90 degrees, I want it rotated 45 degrees, whatever it is. And I can make this bigger. Like I know I want the width to be 6 inches for whatever reason, I can do that. Or if I can make it smaller. However you want to manipulate things, you can do that here. Okay. And what's also kind of cool is if I kind of throw this off and I'm like, ooh, I want this centered, you can use these toggles here to automatically find the center of the design. And a new feature they've added is a create pattern. So you just toggle this on and it creates a pattern like that, which isn't really the greatest. It's because I have it rotated. So if I hit 0 rotated, and it fills in the pattern like that. And this isn't really the best designed pattern. So I'm going to go ahead and enlarge it like that and move it something like that, I guess. There we go. Okay, I like yeah. All right. This is just me going a little nuts and picky. It doesn't really matter. So the other things we're learning as we're moving and adjusting the size, the resolution is changing and it's automatically telling us, is this high resolution? Is the quality good? You want to try and keep it at the high resolution. Medium resolution will print pretty good, but you're going to lose some of that quality, and you do want to avoid it. If you get a notification that it is low resolution, you definitely want to work on your images if it comes out like that. Now there are, we can do a quick preview. We can click here and we can do a quick preview to see the mug. Now you can see it looks really cool here, it prints top to bottom, but then of course at the edges you still get the white because that's where the template ends. Okay, so this isn't going to really wrap around the entire mug, which is, it just doesn't do that. And say this design, these squares were transparent. I could change the background color to red if I wanted, or I could change it to a different color. But obviously this is a solid design, so there's nothing coming out there. Now, the next thing I wanted to do was just add another element to my design. So I just click add on the layers there and I grab the other layer from my device. And this is the personalized element for this mug. And is this little gift tag that goes on the design. So I created this and I'm going to just rotate it. And then this is a design I made in Canva that I can edit the names. So this is what's making this personalized, is I can change the to name and from name that's put on the mug. Okay, so if we look at the preview, we can see this is the mug here. Okay, now is this the best design ever? No, I'm just using this as an example in this video. And I hope you can come up with more creative and better designs than this. But I'm just trying to show off all the features without getting too crazy technical into the design of everything. So we can see here, we have the mug. This is the personalized element. So when someone orders this mug from Etsy, they can put in the personalization box, the to whom, from whom, and I will go in to Printify when I have personalized design. First, I'll go into Canva, go to my template, change the names, download the new photo, go to Printify, the same steps we just did, go to the product on the Printify page, start design, create the design, edit the design, or because I have this product, I can duplicate this, edit the design. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple different ways to do that. Now I have the design made, I have the colors selected that I want to use. I just want to do this on the red mug. And I have the design how I want to look. I checked out the mock-ups, they all look good, and I click Save Product. Before I get too in the weeds with this, it takes us to the page with all the information. Okay, this is the information that Printify is going to send to Etsy. When we're on Etsy, we can change whatever information we want. This is just the first step in creating a listing on Etsy with Printify. This step I do once and then I never do it again. I forget about the product because these are personalized, so I rarely come back. There's no need to make changes here. And the initial information I'm sending to Etsy, I make the changes in Etsy and then move on. Okay. So it shows us the mock-ups that are available here. You can click which one you want to be your main mock-up photo, right? And you can then check to this if like, I don't want this one on there. That doesn't need to show, or whatever. Okay. And then we can go down to the product description. So this is what's going to show up in Etsy. And again, we can edit this all in Etsy. So I'm not going to go too deep into any changes on here because we have to go in and edit on Etsy anyway. So the information I put in here, I'm going to have to go change it in Etsy anyway. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time in here. What am I going to do for a product description title? You may think, oh, we have to do all this research for Etsy and everything. Yes, this is going to Etsy, but this is also the description and the title that I'm going to be seeing on my Printify dashboard. Okay, so I want it to make it easy for me to reference on my Printify dashboard and fully understand what the product is from my point of view. This does not have to match what it's going to see in Etsy. Okay, so this is the red plaid gift tag accent mug. This I know, and I'm also going to add the word personalized because I know this is the personalized version of this mug, and this is so I know. And then also when I send it to Etsy, this will be pulled in as the title, which I can change to whatever I want. The description, I don't even need to touch. I don't need to look at it right now. I'm going to do that in Etsy. Pricing. I do like to update the pricing here because it just, I don't know, it just makes it easier just to get that done. So if you have a bunch of variants here, there'll be different, if there's different prices or whatever. Starting off with just the one variant makes it a lot easier in Etsy. So we're going to talk about the pricing a little bit, okay? And what I use for pricing is my Whutsy pricing calculator. And all you have to do is go to whutsy.com. And I'm going to say that on the home page, there is a free version of this calculator. Okay, so you can check it out and you can use it if you want. I have a members only, which is $2.99 a month. And you can use the calculators as many times as you want for as long as you want to pay for $2.99 a month. So if you want to pay for 1 month, do all your listings, get all your pricing figured out, and then cancel your membership, that's fine. That's up to you. Okay, but I'm going to go ahead and log in, and I will give you a tour of the calculators. All right, so I'm logged into the calculators. Now, again, this is for US-based sellers. If you're based in another country, these calculators are not going to be accurate because Etsy charges different fees. These calculators are for pricing your items with Etsy fees in mind so that you're able to sell these items for a profit no matter what, okay? And it takes all the guesswork out of it. Now, I'm going to do the pricing for this mug. And if you agree with the pricing that I'm doing for this mug, you're welcome to use the same selling price I'm using, okay? And or you can use the free calculator on the website. But there's a few features that are on the paid membership calculators. And again, I'm not trying to sell this to you. There's other calculators out there, and you're welcome to do the calculations yourself. This is just what I use, so I'm just showing you. And I created these myself. And the calculator for when you're creating a new listing is called the What Should I Sell My Listing For calculator. It gives you the best estimated price for your listing on Etsy. Now, why do I say best estimated price? Because we can never get the accurate price because Etsy fees vary based on where the customer lives. So sales tax factored in and other things. So it's pretty accurate, pretty much as accurate as you can get. Based on all the fees to give you the best way to price your item. But it's not going to be 100% accurate because that's not possible with the way Etsy charges fees. Okay, so this is the calculator I want. I'm going to go ahead there. And we're going to start here, and this listing name is just for your reference. It says name of your listing for easy reference. So this is going to be just the 11-ounce accent mug from Printify and District Photo. Okay, and this is with Printify Premium pricing. Okay, that's something to keep in mind. Now, if you're not signed up for Printify Premium, the pricing is going to be different. And also remember, when your Printify Premium membership expires, if you're not paying for that every month, which for most people, you probably shouldn't, unless you're doing a lot of orders. And because I think it's $29 a month, I mean, it's not cheap. So pricing with the actual pricing of the item not on Printify Premium is probably the better way to go. So maybe I will do that. And I will, I'm logged in, so I can't view the pricing catalog. So I would recommend looking at Printify pricing without premium pricing. So maybe I'll do that on a separate screen because I think that's definitely the better way to do it, so that I know it when my my subscription expires to Printify Premium, I'm not losing money. I'd rather charge the regular price for the item and then I'll be able to knowing that I can offer a discount would be better way of going about it. So I'm just opening this up on another window so I can get the prices. All right, so I'm going to just cancel that out. So this is the information so I can reference this later, how much the pricing for an 11-ounce accent mug from Printify fulfilled by District Photo. So this is for me, for my information. Next, this is the next question that is very important. For pricing with Etsy, for personalized items especially, I don't like to do a percentage-based profit, which most people do. I like to do an actual number of how much money I'm getting paid for each time I'm making an item. Okay, and when I say minimum profit per sale, I'm meaning the absolute minimum I want to make to fulfill this item. So my time to create the personalized design and fulfill the order on Printify, which The design I have is fairly simple. It's not going to take me a lot of time to do, but it will take me a little bit of time. So I definitely don't want to do it for free. And when I say minimum amount, it means because we have to factor in something that Etsy calls offsite ads fees, which is a percentage that Etsy takes if someone clicks through your ad that they put out on the internet. You don't have control over this unless you're a new shop. You can opt out. But for the rest of us, you're opted in if you do any kind of significant business on Etsy. So I always like to price in mind with that in mind. So we're going to assume that we're going to be paying an offsite ads fee for some of our orders. And I don't want to fulfill that order if that offsite ads fee is taken out and I'm not being compensated to do that work. This is how I think about it. You can think about it differently if you want. If you're thinking, well, only a certain amount of orders come in from the offsite ad fee, so I can understand that maybe I'm going to make a little bit less money when those orders come in versus the other orders, which I make more money, and it averages out, and it's all good. That's up to you. Think about it in your mind, whatever makes sense for you. But I just want you to make money every time you get an order, whether it's 50 cents when someone clicks on an offsite ad, or if it's $3 when they don't, whatever it is. And you may be thinking like, oh, I'm only going to make $3 per sale. This is the minimum. And again, with print on demand, you're not doing that much work. You're just clicking through a few buttons, dealing with some customer service on your end, and personalizing designs if that's the way you're going. So you're not going to be making $20 an order for that. And you have to decide what it's worth to you. If it's not worth it to you, then yeah, raise your minimum profit to whatever you want it to be. Okay. For personalized items, I like to say $5 is a pretty good starting point. If you find yourself not making a bunch of sales and you think it's your pricing, you can lower this number. Or if you think you're working too hard for the amount of money you're making, you can increase this number based on your needs. And you can always come back and use this calculator and change that number. So I'm going to pick, because this item is fairly easy for me to personalize and will only take a few minutes to put in the names, download the design, put it on Printify, and fulfill the order. And if someone clicks through an offsite ad, I know I'm going to make at least $3 on that transaction. More often than not, it will be more. That's more, I'm going to put my baseline for this. More complex design, more work for me, I would increase that to whatever I think is fair. Okay. And I'm not talking about coupons or anything like that. Okay. This is the minimum you want to make. And you can also use this pricing calculator if you're not using print on demand. So if you are hand making something on your own, what's your time worth? How long does it take you to make that item? What's your hourly rate? I would use that as a baseline for this. The cost to make. Now, this is how much it costs to make. So we're going to go ahead back to Printify. Now I'm logged into Premium, and we're back onto the page that the item is. So I'm signed up with Printify Premium. The cost is, it says from $4.43. So I always want to go into more details and make sure that it's the variant that I want is that price. Now, yes, all these mugs are the same price, but if you're on a different listing, sometimes these prices are different. So this is the Printify Premium price. I'm going to go over to my other screen and look and see what the regular price is. So the regular price without Printify Premium is $5.75. So that is exactly what I'm going to put into the calculator, because I know when my Printify Premium free subscription trial expires, I don't want to have to go in and change all my prices. Sure, I could if you don't have a lot of items, but personally I'm not going to, and I'm just going to price without Printify Premium in mind. And then I can always do a sale, because I know that the Printify Premium price for these mugs is $4.43. So I could give $1 off or something, easily. And that might be one way to do a sale. I don't know, just an idea. Then we go to next, the shipping price at checkout. Now, if you are doing the free shipping guarantee and the total for this item is over that amount, you will want to put 0 here. Or if you just do free shipping as an incentive in your shop, you can put 0 here. If the customer is going to pay for shipping at checkout, this number you enter in here is the number that the customer will pay. Okay, this is what your customer pays at checkout. Okay, this number can be whatever you want. You can make up whatever number you want. Okay, we know the price to ship the mug. If we go here, oh yeah, shipping, yep, is $4.99. Let me check on shipping cost. It's still $4.99, so that's the same. That doesn't change with Printify Premium. So we can decide we want to charge that customer that $4.99, or we can offer them free shipping, or we could charge some other price. No matter what, this price is going to be built into our pricing using this calculator. So you can decide whatever you want, but you have to make a decision. So I'm going to just charge the customer what it costs to ship the item, which is $4.99. And again, this is to the United States. And this is why I say be specific with your customer when you're picking the item. We're shipping this item to a customer in the United States. This is the item we're going to ship it to this country. If I want to make a listing that ships to another country, I could do that in a separate listing, or we could change the shipping profile. We'll walk through that further along in the video. So we have the shipping price the customer is going to pay at checkout, it's $4.99. And then next it says, if free shipping, what's the actual cost to ship? Now I write if free shipping because if on the previous page you put in 0, I'm not charging the customer for shipping, then you would put in the price to actually ship it, which would be $4.99. So if you decide I'm going to do free shipping for my customers, you put 0 on the previous page, you're going to put $4.99 here. Now I have the customer paying for shipping, so I'm going to enter in 0. Okay. Now, if you decide to be cute and you're like, well, I'm going to charge $2 for shipping, you're going to want to build in that additional price for the actual cost to ship the item. So you would put the difference in here. I don't want to get too confusing or too technical about it, but if you did that, that will make sense for you. Now, here's the offsite ads. I have a link here if you don't know where your offsite ads fee is. It's under settings, offsite ads. You'll see what your percentage is. The short version of this is new shops pay 15%. Whoops, let me go back. By default, unless you opt out, then it's 0%. Okay. Now, if you have made $10,000 in the past 12 months on Etsy, you are opted in, no choice of your own, at 12%. Okay. So if you're thinking about becoming successful on Etsy and really making a go of your business, you may want to have your pricing set up with this offsite ads fee in mind already, even if you're opted out, just so that that pricing is there. Up to you. You can choose whatever you want, but I recommend for most shops to just do the 12%. If you're a new shop, go for 15% if you're opted in, so that you know you're covering that fee, because it may seem like, oh, it's only 3% different. It's a big difference, okay? So either pick 12% if you're an established shop, that's automatically opted in, or 15% if you're a new shop. And now we have our coupon and discount percentage, and this is where it's going to get really cool for our Etsy Cyber Week sale. So Etsy has put out their, the sale is, let me pull up that page. Okay, so I found the page in the seller handbook that references the sale and other Etsy sales events. So I'll have a link to this page in the description of the video. So all you have to do is go down and they have a little blurb about their Cyber Week sale. So the Cyber sale is November 18th through 30th. And to participate in the sales event, meaning you have an opportunity to get featured, you can do 20% off or higher through November 18th and 30th. So you don't have to do 20%. That's what they're recommending. So you could do less or you could do more, but they're saying 20%. So I'm just going to go with Etsy guidelines on this and do the 20%. And what this coupon discount percentage question on the calculator really means is you want to select the highest discount you wish to offer during a sales event or as a coupon. You don't want to put in here like, oh, I'll put in 10% and then I'm going to do a 20% sale. This is not the purpose of the calculator. You want to put the highest amount that you would ever offer. So if you run 10% discounts all the time, but during Black Friday you do a 20% discount or 15% or whatever, you want to use that as your baseline, because then now you know you're priced with that huge discount, your biggest discount in mind. So you don't have to go in and change your pricing to compensate for a bigger sale that's going on. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. And once we've entered that in, we click submit, and then we can put in our email address to get an email with the results for this. This is not to spam you or anything else. It's just so you have it in your inbox and you can reference it later, or you can skip it. Okay, and then now we have the estimated selling price the calculator gives us is to list the item for $18.99. When the customer gets that sale, that 20% off sale, they'll be paying $15.19. Okay, so it does all that math for us. Again, this is the estimated price. This obviously would be different with sales taxes and other things involved, but this is a good baseline. So we could do $18.99, we could do $19. You could even make it more if you think, oh, this mug's really good. And I can sell, it's really personalized. I can sell this for more. You could do $20, whatever you want. People may be like, an 11-ounce mug for $20, you crazy? Well, I will tell you right now, I sell my personalized mugs, 11-ounce mugs, for almost $30, and I sell them quite often. So I make a very good profit off of those. You can price these for whatever you want. If you're offering a good product, you're offering a quality service, personalization, unique design, something special, you can charge whatever you want. There will be a customer for it, but you have to believe in it and you have to understand what you're offering to the customer is worth, is of value, and you can do those charges. So don't be scared of that. But this is the reality of selling on Etsy. There's lots of fees, so we want to make sure those are all covered, okay? And if you scroll down, you'll get the breakdown here. So the minimum profit I'll make when I sell one of these mugs is $3. I know that for a fact. It might be, $2.90 or hover around $3 if someone clicks through an offsite ad, because again, it's not 100% accurate, but I know I'm going to make at least $3 per sale. And then we break down the fees. Okay, so the cost to make it, we entered in that amount. This is less with Printify premium for the month. So I have that difference now is added to my minimum profit. Great, right? Shipping expense, I don't pay any shipping expense because the customer is paying that. Now remember, it's not like the customer's money magically ends up in my pocket the moment that they pay. It does take time for it to come from the customer through Etsy to me, but that money is balanced out, so it is being paid for in that sense. The Etsy listing fee is 20 cents. And if you used my link to open your Etsy shop, you should have, I think they give you 20 free listings, so that fee will be $0 for your first 20 listings. So whenever someone buys something, the listing fee is renewed. So if you have free listings, that 20 cents will go to your minimum profit. The Etsy shipping transaction fee. So the customer pays the $4.99 for shipping. That means they're paying the shipping. You pay a percentage of that shipping transaction fee. Is that 32 cents? Okay. And then now things change a little bit with if a discount is applied. If they use the 20% off coupon discount, the payment processing fee Etsy collects is around 71 cents. The transaction fee Etsy collects is around 99 cents. And if they click through an offsite ad, the amount around is $1.82 you pay Okay. If they don't use an offsite ad, that $1.82 goes to your minimum profit. Okay. If there is no coupon applied, the payment processing fee is 82 cents. The transaction fee is $1.23, and the offsite ads fee is $2.28. And that's more money because the customer is paying a higher amount. So the percentages, the percentage of a higher amount will be a bigger number. Okay, so that breaks it all down for you. This is why I love these calculators, because it just puts it out there. You completely understand it, and you see where your money is going and how much you're actually making per transaction, all there outlined for you. Okay, so I know the price for this mug has to be at least $18.99 to make the minimum of $3 profit I want to for every sale, and be able to use a discount coupon of 20%. All right, so I'm going to go back. It's been a while since we've been here, but this is the Printify. When you produce your product, it brings you to this page. You can also click edit from your My Products page to bring you here. We go down to pricing, and then we can put the $18.99. We could put $19 even. Sometimes round numbers are better on Etsy. We could even make it something like $20.50, something like that. And you can see it says, oh, our profit $16.50. Well, we know from doing the Etsy calculator on Whutsy that the profit, this isn't all profit because the Etsy fees come out of this number, and also the shipping costs come out of that number, right? Okay, so it's not that much money. Next, okay, once we've got our pricing figured out, we go down to our store details. You want to make sure this is checked, hide in store. This means that the listing is going to be pushed to your Etsy drafts folder instead of being put on your store live, ready to purchase. We have changes we need to make in Etsy before we can publish the listing for the real world. Now, variant visibility. This is kind of confusing because the only way this would get updated is if you publish your listings repeatedly for things that are out of stock. This probably by default having the only show stock variants and hide any out of stock variants. Okay, so this is only relevant for the time as now when we're publishing this. So if the red mug suddenly goes out of stock and I'm not paying attention and not aware of it, it's not going to update that on Etsy for me. It's not automatically like that. So you have to be cautious of that. It's just at the time as we're publishing. So if that red mug is out of stock right now and I publish it to Etsy, it will show as out of stock on Etsy. But when it becomes in stock, it's not going to update. Okay, I hope that's clear. What's going to sync with your Etsy store? Kind of ignore that word sync. It's just going to push this information to your Etsy store. It's not going to sync it. You're pushing it to your Etsy store, and then you can edit it on Etsy. Nothing's going to change. It's not going to sync back and forth. It's just we're pushing it to Etsy, and then we're going to make our changes. Then we have the ability to make a shipping profile. So the first time you send this mug to Etsy, you want to create a shipping profile. If you create more designs, more mugs with the same mug, same size, same ship fulfillment company, you can just uncheck this because we can use that same shipping profile over and over again. Shipping profiles can get very cluttered on Etsy. They are not organized very well on Etsy. They're kind of confusing to navigate. So it's better to just have as few shipping profiles as possible and making sure they're accurate. So again, first time pushing this exact item to your Etsy shop, create a new shipping profile. If you are creating a duplicate listing of a similar design, same mug, same product, different design, just uncheck. We'll use that same shipping profile. Okay. And then once we have all that ready, we're ready to click publish. We click publish. Now, I'm just going to walk you through a scenario of what if someone ordered this from my Etsy shop, okay? And I'm going to just walk you through that before we go into Etsy and edit this listing, because this does take a little time. If you go to Etsy right now, it probably won't be there. It says publishing. It's there we go. It just changed the status. So it says hidden. That means it's in my drafts folder. But we're going to just say someone ordered this mug. And maybe, you know what? Maybe I will do that at the end, because I'm getting ahead of myself here and I don't want to confuse anyone yet. So we'll come back to that at the end of the video. If you are curious about what to do, if you're comfortable with editing listings in Etsy and you totally understand all that, you can skip ahead to that part. I'll have that in the chapters below about how to create personalized or fulfill personalized orders in Printify. All right, so we've published our listing in Printify, and you can see the status changed to hidden. If it says publishing or you see something different there, this is where sometimes there can be glitches or bugs and stuff. So I can't help you with glitches or bugs, but what I can tell you is you want to, sometimes the status takes a while to change. And if you see something different and it's not changing or it's been a while, go make a cup of coffee, come back, check again, refresh the page, and see that. Now, but that could say anything here on Printify. Where you really want to check is in your Etsy shop. So you log into your Etsy shop, go to your listings, and you're like, oh, no, panicking. Oh no, there's nothing here. There's nothing here. Go to your drafts folder. It's over here on the side. Click on your drafts, and you will see there it is. Okay, we publish it to our drafts because we do not want this to show up on Etsy right away. We have things that we have to do to comply with Etsy's rules. We have rules, things that we need to change on the listing to make sure that the information given is accurate, et cetera, et cetera. So you always want to publish it to your drafts, right, when you're publishing from Printify, so you can make these changes. Now, in my previous Etsy videos, you'll see also on the page on Whutsy.com Printify that I go through this stuff again in depth in other videos. This is again the most up to date. So, but you can also watch those other videos. There might be other tips and things that I have overlooked in this video. But basically, if I want to create more mugs in Etsy, I can just copy this listing. And then again, those orders will be pulled into Printify and I can fulfill them however I want on Printify. Because there are so many changes we have to make in Etsy that it's easier to just copy a listing and then sync that with Printify later on once you get an order, versus going through Printify and then going in and making all these changes to every listing from Etsy. That's just my workflow. Or at every listing that comes from Printify. That's just my workflow, how I like to do things to keep things easy and simplified. So you can do that too, or you can do it some other way that works for you, whatever you want to do. But just keep in mind, we have to go in and edit this Etsy listing. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. We just click on the little cog icon and click edit. And you can see Printify pushed photos for us. We already have some great mock-ups. I mean, these are not bad. They show the product in like a lifestyle. We can click on this and see it bigger. We see it on white, all three sides. Really nothing wrong with that. And one of the cool things about mugs is there's mock-ups you can get all over the place. Now, if you want, you can buy your own item and make your own photos. That's kind of more an advanced thing. And if you are 100% serious and are going to go on Etsy full time, you have the time to do it. Definitely buy the items, do your own photos, do your own videos. I highly recommend that, but it's not required when you're starting out. There's no need to when there's lots of great mock-ups. It's a really great representation of what they're going to be getting. And when it comes to something simple like mugs, what you see is what you get. There's not a lot of variety or as far as consistency or print quality. from print provider to print provider. There may be minute details if you ordered one from each one and really studied them. But in general, it's going to be fairly standardized and not like you're showing something that the customer's not going to get. Hope that makes sense. When you're creating products that are maybe more specific, you might want to order samples so you can really see those, see what they're like. As a general rule, if it's something unique and different, you're not sure about it. But something like a mug or like the classic T-shirt that's a bestseller on Printify, we know that there's a general baseline of quality that you're going to get from every print provider. Okay, so that being said, we do have the ability to add more photos. And that's why I bring up mockups. Places like Canva, there's Envato, there's other places. I'll leave links below where you can find mockups, and some are subscription-based, some are pay per mockup. Sometimes you can find free ones, so you can also, I sometimes buy mockups off of Etsy. There are sellers on Etsy. So I'll have links below with resources that you can check out in your own time for where I like to source mockups if I need them. And you can do that on your own. You don't have to do it. The mockups provided by Printify are excellent quality. They show the product. And starting out in this Cyber Week challenge that we're doing, I wouldn't get too involved with creating a ton of mockups, So this is perfect to just start. Now, when we scroll down, there's an option to adjust the thumbnail. Now you can see that the thumbnail shows the mug in full view. And that's because this thumbnail that is a crop that Etsy uses, we can also adjust it if needed. So we click adjust thumbnail and we get this window that pops up, and we can move the mug around in the picture a little bit, what it allows. And we could also zoom in if we wanted to, zoom out, whatever. Okay, so you can kind of make those adjustments. Now, Etsy is a little bit buggy, and sometimes this preview doesn't refresh and doesn't show. So if you make those adjustments and you don't see it, it doesn't mean it didn't work. You can when we publish, we'll check the listing to make sure it looks how we want, and we can always go back and edit if it changes. Now, listing videos, these are a great feature on Etsy, and I think it's really important to create a listing video. I have other content on my channel walking you through how to actually create a listing video, even if you don't have the product. There are places where you can source mock-up videos where you can put your artwork on something like a mug and create a mock-up video. It's pretty incredible because we only need 15-second video maximum, 5 to 15 seconds. We can find mock-up videos for that if you want to, or you can do an explainer type video. Because this item is personalized, I could create an explainer type video in Canva that's only 15 seconds long. You don't need sound or anything. That has some animated text explaining. You can personalize this mug with the to and from name on the side of printed on the side of the mug, something like that. That just adds something to the listing and gets the customer to answers any customer questions that might come up about what's going on with the mug. Okay, so I highly recommend you look into making a video. You don't have to do it now. This might be something that you can, after we publish the listing, you can look into. And I'll have links below to the videos that I use for talking about creating your own listing videos. Now to the important stuff, the listing details. This is what will help with people finding your listing and in Etsy search, and also with anyone searching for your listing on Google, the potential of it showing up there. Now, I'm not going to talk a lot about Google SEO, search engine optimization, because it does take time for listings to appear on there. It doesn't mean your listing won't appear on there, but it generally takes a few months for Google to find listings. So I wouldn't count on that, but we still want to make the listing accurate for shoppers on Etsy if they find it. Okay. And Again, there's a sea of sellers on Etsy, including you, including me, including everyone watching this video. So don't be discouraged if no one buys your listing, but no one will buy it if you don't put it out there. Okay, there's a chance of 0 people buying it if you don't put it out there. So put it out there. Yes, this process is a long process because this is the first time you're doing it. But you're watching this video, doing it right. So you're getting the step-by-step out of the way. And now you're empowered after watching this video and getting all this information to do it on your own and grow, create more listings if you want to, increase the chances of people finding you, posting stuff on social media, all these things, okay? So don't get too caught up in everything. You want to just do things the right way, and the sales will come eventually if you have a good product. If you're not offering a product people want to buy, it's going to make it even harder, okay? So my listing, probably not a good... I don't think people will want to buy this. It's a demo product, okay? It's not a great design. It's kind of cool, but it's something like you could find at the dollar store or whatever. I'm totally aware of that, but it is personalized, so it has that going for it. I encourage you to do a better design than this. All right, so back to the title. The title, you want to tell shoppers what the item is. I have a whole video on writing listing titles and descriptions. So watch that video. And I will also have a link to my PDF worksheet specifically for listings and listing descriptions. So I'm not going to get into it great in this video, but I'm going to just put in, we're going to do a plaid mug personalized with gift tag, 11 ounces red. Oops. Okay, I'm keeping this very simple, very short, concise. There's lots of schools of thought that people tend to think listing titles are super important for SEO. It's more important to describe what the item is, and so it communicates clearly with the customer. We could put coffee mugs, we could put all kinds of different keywords in here, but this is just a concise title. I'm not getting into the finer points of writing a Etsy title, okay? There's tons of content on YouTube about that, and otherwise this video will be 4 hours long. All right, next, more importantly, about this listing, we have to disclose to Etsy that we didn't make this. So this is made by another company or person, okay? It is going to be a finished product because the other option is a supply. Okay, so this is a finished product and it is made to order. Okay, so made to order makes it handmade. Someone is making this to order. That is what classifies for handmade on Etsy, other than something that you actually did craft by hand and you're selling. Okay, so those are the 2 definitions of handmade according to Etsy. Next, the category. Printify automatically put us in the mugs category, and then we appear in all of these categories. Perfect, okay? Material. Now, if you're not sure what your material is, this is why we have our original item we selected. We have that page accessible here because it'll tell us what it's made out of. Here it says white ceramic. So we go back to our listing and check ceramic. Next, primary color. I would say red is our primary color for our design here. If this is a white mug, I would put white, etc. And you're able to select a secondary color. And all this does is mean it will appear in search under that secondary color. Now, if someone's searching for white and they see my mug, I don't think they're going to be interested in that. So I think red is really the only color I need to provide here. Capacity. Now, again, we go back to our listing. What's the capacity of this mug? It's the 11 ounces, okay? So we put in 11, and then we select our unit of measurement, fluid ounces, okay? Now, dishwashers. These are other attributes. This is what Etsy calls attributes. And every listing is different. So if you've picked a different product, like a t-shirt or something, you'll see different things that apply to that item. But all that information should be on the listing in Etsy. Listing in Printify. Product description. So we have microwave safe, dishwasher safe. Okay, so we have that information. Yes. Yes. Does it have a handle? Yes. Is it insulated? No. It's just a regular ceramic coffee mug, not one of those insulated mugs. And is it enamel? No. It's made of ceramic. Okay. Now, sustainability, we don't apply for any of these attributes for this. And then occasion would be if this is, let's say this is specifically a gift that says, excuse me, specifically a mug that says, congrats on your new home. Okay, what occasion would that be? Housewarming, right? So we could go down here and select housewarming. Okay, but this is not it could be a housewarming gift, I guess, but it's not. So we don't put any occasion. Holiday. This is very clearly a Christmas mug because of the Christmas design. It's not explicitly Christmas. It doesn't say Merry Christmas on it, but its intention is obviously Christmas with the design of the mug. So I can select that. If the mug was not a specifically Christmas design, I would not select Christmas. And then or if it was a different holiday design, an Easter design, a Valentine's Day design, etc., you can pick the specific holiday the design is for, okay? So hope that makes sense. This is not the occasion it could be gifted for. It is a description of the design. Next, they give us an option for the type of graphic. So you can see if there is a plaid here, not really. It's hard because they have different graphics that kind of describe. It's not really any of these things. It doesn't really fit, I think, into any of this stuff. If I had to be honest, so I'm going to just leave that blank because it's not helping things. The next thing is renewal options. Do you want this to, if no one buys this in 3 months, the listing will expire. Now you have the option at that 3 months to either renew it or just let it expire and just live in your expired listings folder. Or you can choose to renew it automatically, where if it expires, when no one purchases it for 3 months, it will renew automatically for 20 cents. Most listings, you will probably just want to have automatic. This is something that's seasonal. You may think, oh, no one's going to buy it out of season. But it's up to you. Sometimes people do buy stuff out of season. And if it's worth it to you to keep it listed for 20 cents, keep it listed. It could, and it would be good for the overall SEO of your listing page to just keep it active. But if it is a listing, a bad design, dead listing, maybe your shop's changed over time, you can let it expire and move on, or you can even change the listing completely and put a new item in it. So there's lots of ways to think about this stuff. But this is just about renewal. And then next we have the option to choose if this is a physical item or if it's a digital product. So obviously this is a physical product. Now here is where the listing description is entered. It pulls in automatically the listing description provided by Printify, which is very generic, and you need to obviously edit it to fit your product. I'm not going to go into detail about listing descriptions in this video. I have on my website, if you follow the link below in the description, will take you to my guide on Etsy listing descriptions, walks you through the most basic step-by-step to get a baseline basic listing description, okay? And I recommend you watch that video if you want to. If you are confident in listing descriptions, you can write your own. And again, referencing the information that is on the product page in Printify, all the information that's provided here. Okay, moving on. So because we selected that we have someone else making the item, that we aren't making the item, remember back up at the top where we decided another person or company is making the item, we have to disclose the production partner. So I have some production partners listed here already that I put in for other items, something like that. So, oh, it must be for a digital product maybe. Anyway, so what I need to do is I need to add district photo. So I'm going to add a new production partner. And I'm going to put the name as district photo. And I'm going to hide that name from buyers. It's not important for them to know who I use. And I can put in a print shop here. And then where are they located? So this we do have to look up. So we go ahead and you can see Printify doesn't make this information readily available. All it says is United States. But Etsy requires a city and state, I believe. Yeah, they require city, state, and country for the location. So what I typically do is I just go over to Google Maps. I'm going to do it in a separate browser tab. Sorry, guys, can't see, but you just go to Google Maps, and I can type in district photo and see if they come up. And there we go, and I found their photo lab. And it says it's in Beltsville, Maryland. Okay, so I'm going to just copy that. Now, sometimes it's not easy to find where they're located. So you have to maybe do some more research, or if you still really can't find out, you can reach out to Printify and ask. So I don't need the exact address. I'm just going to put Beltsville, Maryland, and that will pop up for me. And this description is basically saying what they do for us, what the printing partner does for you. They fulfill orders with my designs. Okay. Or you could put, sometimes I put like a print and home goods store, fulfillment of custom products or something. Obviously, that's not a real sentence I just typed. Something like that. You know, you can be vague and but specific at the same time. And then this information, and again, so this will be visible to the customers. It's very small and hard to find. It's not like big and flashy, but it is there. So next is about your partnership. Why are you working with this partnership? So I don't have the technical ability or equipment to make it entirely by myself. That's going to be for most of us. Some of us, if you do make your own mugs, and you might work with them to fulfill orders that you have too many orders and you need help fulfilling, you could pick that. What is your role in the design process? So I design everything myself, or maybe you work with an independent designer to realize it, or I collaborate with my production partner, or I contract independent designers and have rights to their work. These are all options that you can select. And then what is the partner's role? They make a component, or they do everything for me. So basically they do everything for me because I'm not touching the product whatsoever. I'm sending the order to the company and they ship it to the customer. I'm not touching it whatsoever. And then just click Save Partner. And there they are. And we just check them because that's who's working with me to make these mugs. All right, next part is the sections. Now, it's recommended that you do divide your shop into sections. There's lots of different ways you can do this. Maybe, for example, I have these different categories that I've created for my Whutsy demo shop here, which really doesn't have anything, but I could make a section that's just called mugs and keep it as simple as that. I could do it for gifts under $50, or I could do it as gifts for her, anything like that, whatever makes sense for your shop. And then next is tags. And this is another thing that you can make a complete hour-long video just talking about tags, but it's best not to overthink it. We can just use words that describe what I'm selling. Okay, plaid coffee mug, personalized gift, etc., etc. Just keep going on. There's no need to repeat words. Like I don't need to use gift. I can do get for her from dad, grandma, daughter. You know, these are people that might be accepting the gift or giving a gift. So you can kind of, you think about what your item is, and you want to describe that in your tags, and then you also want to describe how it could be gifted, and then you want to kind of dissect it so you don't repeat words all over the place. And you can do 13 of those, so fill those up. And the next one is materials is ceramic, which I always misspell, I think. Let me double check. No, I spelled it right. And then we scroll down and we see inventory and pricing. And this is the pricing. This is the number that we entered in earlier when we were figuring out the pricing. Now, if you skip that part of the video, I recommend you go back to that and where I discuss the pricing and putting that in on Printify just to get that done and out of the way. You don't have to. We can always change the price here, and this is the price the customer will see and will pay. Quantity. This, by default, Printify puts in $9.99, which is the max amount of quantity you can have on Etsy. Now, you should really think hard about quantity, what you put in here. What I recommend is when you have a personalized product, you don't want to put in here more than what you can produce in a day. And why is that? Well, if something goes super viral for whatever reason, or someone shares your listing or decides they want to buy it as a corporate gift or whatever it is, and each one's going to be personalized different, you need to really only enter in the max you can produce. You feel comfortable you could do in one day, so you don't get overwhelmed, because you can always do that batch in one day and then go in and enter in your inventory again. So be it 20. This is minimally personalized. I could probably do more than 20 in a day. But again, remember, this is a quality of life issue, you know? So if you do get 20 orders in a day, are you really okay with that? Will this happen for new sellers? Probably not, but it's better to just set yourself up for this from the beginning, and then you don't have that nightmare scenario of actually being too busy, which can happen on Etsy, okay? Especially if you have really beautiful and unique designs, or if you have an existing Etsy shop and you have a fan base with your artwork or something, and you put out a mug and people are like, oh, I love this and we have to get it. And you're personalizing each one with like a message or something to each person that purchases this from you. You know, you can get really creative with this. So you have to just keep that in mind. Now, if they're not personalized, sure, you could probably do orders, but remember, you have to pay for them. So if you take too many orders, are you going to be able to pay for them while you wait for your money to be deposited? You know, so these are all factors in. So just keep that in mind. The amount available doesn't really affect things as far as Etsy showing your listing. And scarcity can sometimes be enticing to start selling things. So there are scarcity announcements on your listings that Etsy puts there when there's only a few left. It will say low in stock. But you know, that's up to you how often you want to go into your listings and edit the inventory. Okay. So I hope that made sense. And then next is the variation section. Now, I didn't have any variations. I just selected the one red mug, so there were no options. If you had selected multiple colors of mugs when we were creating the product in Printify, you will see different variations. Now, I can always add variations. If I want to, I could add different colors here. I could have the red one, of course, and then I could make a blue one. I could make a pink one they had available. Whatever they had available here, I could always offer. I don't have pictures in the listing to show those examples, so there's no reason to do that. So I'm just doing that red mug, but the option is there. Other options I could do, is this mug available as a bigger mug? Maybe there's a 15-ounce mug in this color, so I could add that variation to this listing, select capacity, change that, add, there's an 11-ounce, right, that I have for sale for $20.50, and then I have a 15-ounce mug, and I'd have to do the pricing for that as well. Check the box, prices vary for each capacity, save and continue, and add the price for those different variations. It's up to you. I think for anyone who's a beginner, just having that one variation keeps things simple, keeps things easy. And as you become more comfortable with Etsy, offering those variations in each individual listing is a way to help boost sales. So giving people options. Sometimes people like that. You don't want to have too many options, but giving people a few options is a great tip. Now, we know this listing is personalized because my design, I require a to whom, from whom. Okay? So I have to switch on personalization. That's not automatic. And I have to tell this buyer what to enter. Okay? Because they won't know what to enter. Please enter names for personalization. Personalization. And I'd be clear, enter, for example, to Georgia from okay, so I give them an example, and hopefully that's what they put in there. Okay, and then if this is optional, meaning they don't have to personalize it, I can check this, but this one they do have to personalize it, so I will do that there. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense, and this will show up on the listing. Now, the next part of the Etsy listing is the shipping profile. So you can see when I published this to Printify, I selected push shipping profile with it. So it did that, and you can see it here. Now, I always go in and edit these because by default, it pulls in the name of the product, right? But I like to be a little bit more specific with this so that I can reuse the shipping profile again. So this is Printify, district, photo, accent mug, and I 11-ounce accent mug, and the regular mug should be the same, but I can leave that there. This is the 11-ounce mug. And if I was going to do different shipping profiles for different countries, like if I was going to have a listing that's just ships to the USA, and then I was going to have a different listing for a different country, I could do that. So I could name this USA, or I can figure out my pricing so that I can ship to different countries in here. Okay, so, but that's up to you. Again, it's very complicated, and I've talked about that a lot in this video. So I recommend to keep it simple and to start out just selling to one country. It automatically pulled in that shipping zip code, the origin, and then it automatically did 1 to 7 business days for the processing time. Now, what I like to do is adjust this processing time to a little bit longer than the estimate. And that's because I want to under promise, over deliver. I know that this will get produced quicker than 7 days, business days, in most cases. I would say that's the maximum. And I would say probably the average, if we go back to what it says on here, currently the average production time is under 2 days. Okay, that will grow as the holidays get closer, and the sheer influx of orders increases the amount of that. So I'm going to be very conservative with that, and I'm going to choose 5. So I know what I'm putting in here is the worst case scenario. And you may be wondering, like, why would you do that? Well, it's always going to ship quicker in most cases Yes, there's going to be outliers. So I want to account for those outliers, because if someone comes to me and says, will this ship in time? I can tell them, look at the estimated shipping date that Etsy gives you. That will be the most accurate. And that's what I'm setting up here. They will either get it at the latest, those dates that Etsy gives them, most likely they'll get it sooner. And that protects you from something being delayed or whatever. And in most cases, that latest shipping date is an outlier. It could happen. So we want to account for that. But most people will get it sooner, so they will be happy. Okay? I hope that makes sense. And then we go ahead down here, and you can see there's other countries here. So I'm going to just go ahead and delete all these countries. I don't want to ship to other countries right now. I just want to keep it in the United States, keep it simple for you guys. And you can see that it chooses an other shipping service in 2 to 5 days. So what I would suggest, because Etsy does these automatic estimated shipping based on the average shipping times, they kind of are plugged in. So I pick a shipping service, and I always pick USPS Parcel Ground Select for when I'm dealing with print on demand and their standard shipping. Sometimes they offer upgraded shipping, but that is a little bit of a complex issue, and that's more. So what we're picking is the worst case scenario, so that when they give that estimated delivery date to the customer when they're checking out, they see the worst case scenario. And then you don't have people coming to you down the road saying, it's not here, it said it was going to be here by this time, and it's not here. It's there in black and white that the worst case scenario is there, and that protects you. Okay, will it get there sooner? Most likely, but again, we want to account for those outliers, those worst case scenarios. And and then this way, whenever someone contacts me, will it get here by this time? All you have to say every time, you can have it as a saved little reply. The estimated delivery date Etsy gives you will be the most accurate. And that is true. It will be the outlier, but it will be the most accurate. And I can also say, lately, things have been arriving sooner, but that's not, with the holidays, that can be in flux. It can be changing. So I can't guarantee anything. Okay, so that can give them some hope that it might arrive. But again, you're not giving them false hope that something will arrive by a certain date, because there's no way, especially with print on demand, there's no way you can possibly know exactly when something will arrive. So we have to give that worst case scenario as our baseline, and then in most cases, it will arrive sooner. Okay, hope that makes sense. So once that's all set, we've got everything changed in here. We click Save Profile, and you can see now it appears here. Now, if I duplicate this listing or create another mug, I can use the same shipping profile if I want to fulfill it through them. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Further down, customs information, this is for people if you're shipping around the world and you're producing the item yourself. We're talking about print on demand, so you don't have to do any of this stuff. And then the last part is the returns and exchanges. This one is a simple policy they have to get started, where they accept returns and exchanges for 30 days. But since this is a personalized item, I'm going to create a policy and say, no, I don't accept returns. No, I don't accept exchanges, because this is personalized. Okay. If it's a non-personalized item, you can set this up to accept returns and exchanges. Okay. But because each item is made custom order, I can't take it back. There's no returns. You're not going to get your money back for this. So that's just how it goes. Okay. For a personalized item. And that's the standard on Etsy. So don't be afraid to do that, because if you do allow returns, people will get something, say they don't like it, they'll return it to you. You have to pay them back for the product. And now you have a product that's personalized that you can't resell. So it's basically out quite a bit of money. Okay. If you're doing a product that's not personalized, you could accept returns. People can send their product back to you, and then when someone orders, you can just ship that product out. So that's always an option. All right. Okay, so we did it. We finished editing the Etsy listing, and I can see, so I hope you understand how much there is to actually do in the Etsy listing. And this is why I don't do much editing in Printify, because I just have to go in and change it in Etsy anyway. So I just like to do it all in Etsy. Only thing I do in Printify is make a title that I know I can reference later easily, and I add the price. I just like to have the price in there. But it's not required. You can always just do it when you edit the listing. Okay. And so from here, I have the option to preview, which for me never tends to work. I have the option to save as draft, so I can save it as a draft and come back if I didn't finish it all in one go, or I can publish it. So let's go ahead and publish it. And here it's telling me that I have 12 free listings left, so it's going to use one of those. I'm going to go ahead and publish. And it says view your active listing, so we can go ahead and take a look at it. And there it is. You can see it has the ability to add the personalization. Okay, and we can just go ahead back. And now we're in our drafts folder and it's gone because now it's over here and active. Okay, and I'm actually going to deactivate this because I don't want anyone to actually buy it, but you can, that's the process. All right. I hope that was helpful. Okay. Now, what do we do when someone places an order, okay, for the mug? We'll go through that example, and then I'm also going to talk about duplicating listings, which if we go to my inactive, we'll see lots of stuff in here. We can go ahead and copy this and duplicate it, and then make changes for whatever product that we want to make a version of it. So if it's a different pictures, if it's a different name, changing the name, just a few changes that we need to make, a little bit in the description, and then we publish. It gets you, things go a lot quicker that way. And like I said, you don't have to have something synced with Printify. We can always go in and add an item to an order when it comes in through Etsy. Okay, because we did our settings right when we set up the Printify settings. All right, so for example, we get an order we get an order in Etsy. Okay, I don't have an order to walk through this with you. I have another video where I actually used a real order and blurred out most of all the information. So you can check the channel for that video if you really want to see exactly how it looks. But basically, you get an order on Etsy. Now, it doesn't automatically ingest into Printify right away. So if you see your little notification on your phone or whatever from Etsy, you may not see the order in Printify right away. Sometimes it takes a few hours, sometimes longer. So don't panic, okay? Wait, get the design ready for the order and fulfill it once you see it. Now, you may not see it here where it says Printify orders. Again, it will probably show up in the other orders, okay? So just keep an eye on both of these folders. And when you see it pop up, you can just click on the order. But before we do that, I'm going to just talk about personalized orders first. Okay, so I got my order, the personalization. I'll just use that example I had in the personalization. So what do I do? All right, so I got that order. I'm going to go to my products. Now they ordered this mug, but it's a different design. Okay, so what do I do? Okay, first thing I do, I know it's this mug. I find the mug. Maybe you have tons of products. You have to find the mug that they ordered. Then you click copy. Okay, so now it says copy of. First thing I do is I click on this and I go in and change the name to Etsy order number, whatever it is. Save as draft. Do not change anything else. So now I'm working on this order. I'm going to personalize this for this order. unpublished. We do not want to publish this. There's no reason to publish this because this is personalized for a specific order. Then I go in to the design. Now I'm able to edit the design. This gift tag, I make a version of this gift tag in Canva. I created it, downloaded it. Now I'm going to add it to this design. I'm uploading it now. Here it is. I left the original there so I can get the, so like, see how this is at an angle? So my rotation was 44 degrees. So I can go to this one and do my rotation 40. I did exactly right. Look at that. And then we change the size and I put it right over where it would be. Perfect. And then I can go to the old one, delete the old one, make any adjustments I want if I want to, and save product. Now I can always check the preview just to make sure that it looks right. Okay, yeah, everything looks good. Save product. Okay, and again, this is Etsy order. This is a specific order. There's no need to publish this. Save as a draft. Now that order is personalized, ready to go. So once that order comes in, pops up in my other orders or in my Printify orders, wherever it is, I click on it and it has the product in there and I can change the product. And all I have to do is search for the order number because I have the order number in the name of the personalized product I just made. I click that, add it to the order, and make sure everything looks good and fulfill. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. I walk through this process in my other video too with real examples. I just don't have orders to do as a real example. And you need an order to show that, okay? So I hope that makes sense. Again, if it's not personalized, there's no need to go through this extra step of duplicating and creating a new design. If this is a fixed design, no personalization, there's no need. You just have that order, sync it with this design, and move on with your life, okay? This is just for personalized orders. And now you have this on file. Say the customer's like, oh, I love this so much. I want to order 2 more with the same design. Again, it probably wouldn't happen with this particular personalization because it's so specific to gifting to a specific person. But if it's a design, what they would want to repeat order, you already have it on file. It's ready to go. It's so much less work, right? So it makes reordering for personalization for a specific customer very easy. And you can offer them maybe an additional discount or whatever. Now, you can always order samples as well. There's get samples. You just order it. It's very easy to do if you want to make your own photos. So I just wanted to mention that as an option as well. You don't have to. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was, well, this is a Cyber Week, right? We made the product and everything, but we want to run a sale, right, for Cyber Week. So we want to make sure we're running a sale. I'm going to walk you through how to make that sale. Now I'm going to just activate this listing again so that I can run the sale. All right. And what we're going to do from here is we're going to go on our left here where there's marketing, and then we're going to go to sales and discounts. Okay, and we're going to click run a sale. And remember we did our pricing. We did with the example of 20% off, which is what we're going to do for the Cyber Week, right? Because it says at least 20%. That's what they recommend. Again, you don't have to do it. I'm just doing what Etsy's recommending. I'm never going to say you can't do something different. Of course you can. I'm just using Etsy as a guideline to make my decisions for this video. You do whatever you want. And we want to do it from November 18th through 30th. Okay, so let's go back to Etsy here. We did 20% off. Is valid everywhere? No, it's just going to be valid in the United States. Okay, and even with our shipping profile setup, how we did, only people in the United States are going to see my listing because that's the only place I ship to. Someone in Australia is not going to be able to buy my listing or see my listing as available to them. It won't pop up in search for them. If somehow they stumble upon it, they won't be able to complete the checkout because I don't ship there. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Now I have the option here to say you have to order at least 2 for the 20% off, that's an option to do. You could even make you have to have an order of at least $50 to get the discount. But that would be store wide. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. But and again, this would be store wide sale if you do a specific number of items. Okay, so we're just going to do a none on the order minimum. Sale duration, we said November 18th through November 30th. You're welcome to run the sale longer or at different times. And we can change this to Cyber Week 2022 mugs, as we're just specifically doing a Cyber Week sale for our mugs in 2022. So we can reference it later and see how many sales we made with this promo. Okay. So I really recommend being specific with the sale name. And it says the customer won't see this, but I think they do when it's like it shows up as the name of the discount. But I'm not 100% sure on that. So don't make it anything like offensive or whatever. Click continue. And then here I'm able to add the listings. Now it'll only run with the sales, with the listing. The sale will only run with the listings I select. Okay. So if I add more mugs, I need to make sure I come into my sale, edit it, and add the listings. So we're going to just do mug. And that should pop up, and we're going to add that here. So this is the only listing that will show the sale when the sale starts. If I want to add more, if I had more listings, I could add more. And then we're going to do review and confirm. And we just double check and make sure everything is here, confirm and create sale. And now it is scheduled. And we can share this if we want to. Okay. And then we scroll down. It should appear here. Let me refresh. Yeah, here we go. So here's the sale. It shows here. So again, like I said, if I created another mug and I'm like, oh yeah, I want to put it in the sale. So I click details, edit included listings, and then here is where I can add more listings. Okay. And if I want to end the sale early, I could. I wouldn't recommend that. It is, of course, before it started. So I could end it before it even starts. You can't delete a sale, but you can end it. And you could start over. Like if I did something wrong here, like, oh shoot, I got to change this so I could end it. Okay. So hopefully that gets you set up for success for your Cyber Week challenge to sell on Etsy with Printify. Again, go to whutsy.com/Printify for the worksheet. If you had trouble following along with the video, there'll be all the links on that page to the other resources I talked about, because there were some things I skipped just for the sake of time. And I know this video seems long and there's tons of information, it goes on forever. Well, this is just comprehensive for the first time you do something, or maybe the second time you want to just follow along a couple times with the video, and then now you're an expert and you can do this on your own and be empowered to create as many products as you want using print on demand. Put your own artwork on there. If you sell really cool items, take a picture of it. And if it's a really cute, creative piece of art, take a picture of it and put it on a mug. You might be surprised who might like it, and your fans will love it, having these other unique items that they can have for themselves or as gifts during the holiday shopping season. So leave a comment. I want to see your shops. Tell us what product you chose. Did you go with the mug? Did you go with a t-shirt? Did you go with something completely different? A stocking, maybe. Ornaments is another really great one. And are you going to just test out one print-on-demand product in your shop? Or are you starting a new shop and you're going to put in a bunch of different ones? Tell us all about it. And if there's any questions, I try to answer those in the comments when I have a chance. And I will, of course, use the comments as a resource. So if you have a question, check the comments. Often, if I miss something, someone will ask and I will answer that in the comments. So before you go crazy, read through the comments, scan through. A lot of the common questions will pop up in there, and I will try to answer those so you can reference them. Thanks for tuning in. I'm doing this same exact video for Printful. If you're interested in learning about Printful and how to do the same exact process for Printful, I'm going to be doing the Cyber Week Challenge 2022 for Printful as well. So look out for that video. Make sure you subscribe and get those notifications so you get a notification when I do the premieres for these videos, because when I have a premiere, I'm usually in the chat answering questions that might come up as you watch the video. Okay, so thanks so much for tuning in, and I wish you all the success in the world, and let me know about any sales you get during the month of during the Cyber Week sale. Let me know if you made more sales than normal, or if you didn't make sales. I want to know why you think that is. Okay. And thanks again for watching. Have a great day.